Hi, I'm Tara Patton, host of All Access. Today we're on location in Eustis, Florida at the beautiful home of notable musician and recording engineer Bobby Croft and his lovely wife Susan. They are hosting the first ever concert in their home right here in Lake County. And guess what? They've given us an all access pass to join them. So let's go in and meet our hosts Bobby and Susan. Thank you so much for having us this evening. We are very excited about the concert you're going to be hosting in your home. So how do you go about hosting your own private concert in your home?
Well, for us, it came about because we have a friend named Fran Snyder, who is the entrepreneur that does concerts in the home nationally, and maintains that website. And he's been calling me for a number of years to do a concert in the home. And I would always tell him, you know, I produce some of the best people that play and sing music in the world. And why would I want to do that on my day off? And but I nevertheless, I said, if you can send me a link to somebody who's so good that I have to see them and that all my musician friends won't laugh at them, then I'll do one. And he sent me one and I went, no. And he sent me another and I said, no. And then he sent me video of Rebecca. And I went, wow, that we can do. And so it just happened to work out timing-wise, where we were catching her coming back from Japan on her way to do the Listening Room Festival in Tampa, and this worked out to be the open date.
What are some of the things you've done to prepare for hosting this concert in your home?
Well, just like having any party, I mean, you pick a date, you do the guest list, you send out the invitations, and get the food catered, and you're all set to go. And you have to handle the sound part.
The technical part.
Yeah.
It's really easy. Typically, it's not going to be as elaborate as the set you would see now. It's normally could be right in front of the fireplace and done acoustically without any, without sound system at all. Or typically the performer will bring their own little sound system that's right for the amount of people that are there. It doesn't have to always be so formal as we're doing it this time. I mean, it's casual but formal.
Right. I know I've been to a lot of concert venues and I've heard some great CDs, dance a lot too, but the live music aspect that we're about to enjoy in your backyard, what does that mean to you as a music industry professional for as long as you have? What's the difference that you can maybe explain to our viewers that we're most excited about?
Not everybody's wheelhouse of talent puts them in a place where there's a lot of commotion and they come off very well. That's certain kind of musical acts. That's what they do is pandemonium, maximum pandemonium. But there's a whole bunch of people who need to be listened to. You have to really pay attention to the little nuances of what they do. The stories that go in the songs, the stories in between the songs, and you have to create a listening environment for that. And it doesn't always translate to a big concert hall or to a club. It works much better in a smaller, intimate setting like this.
Thank you so much for the all access pass to the concert in your home, Bobby and Susan.
You're welcome. We're
Thank
glad
you.
to have you.
And we'll be right back with Rebecca Loebe. Thank you so much for joining us today, Rebecca.
My pleasure.
We're happy to have you. Have you ever done a concert in the home before?
You know, I have done a few. They're getting more and more popular. There's a company in Tampa that is helping to popularize them nationwide. So not too far from here.
And that's concertsinyourhome.com, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yep.
concertsinyourhome.com. Check it out. Find out more about being a host. And of course, you're obviously an artist.
Exactly. Well, it's a cool site because it brings together people who want to host house concerts and people who want to perform them.
Absolutely.
Great concept.
Tell us about how you kind of got your start in music.
Well, I started sort of as a teenager writing horrible teenage poetry, and then somebody gave me a guitar, so then I started writing horrible teenage songs.
There you go.
And when I was 15, my dad took me to an open mic in my hometown, Atlanta, called Eddie's Attic. Yeah. So I started going on Monday nights and listening to singer-songwriters from all over the country, and it was really inspiring, and I was writing more and more and started performing my music at the open mic, and then I decided to go to college for music, and one thing led to another, and I decided to give it a try, being a professional musician on the road.
Now, I know you're now based in Austin, so tell us about the music scene in Austin for our viewers that don't know about it here in Lake County.
I grew up in Atlanta and DC and went to college in Boston. I'm sort of East Coast oriented, and I don't think I ever thought I would live in Austin, Texas. And the very first time I went, I completely fell in love with the city. It is such a beautiful place, and the people there are amazing. It's a town that really believes in its artists. For years, they've been providing health care for musicians in Austin. Working musicians in Austin get health care, mental and dental support. It's really incredible.
That's great.
Yeah, it's wonderful. So it's a great place to be based. There are a lot of musicians touring nationally out of there, raising their families there. And you'll be grocery shopping and be like at the cart next to one of your favorite nationally touring musicians.
That's so much fun. Now, I've heard about, Austin City Limits and South by Southwest, some of the bigger festivals that they have there, but I had no idea they had such a community of music.
Absolutely, definitely. That's what drew me to it.
And being around, and our show is all based on arts and entertainment and culture, and bettering yourself and having those outlets through music and art to be changed almost, and it's just really inspiring. So tell us more about your journey, because that's what all of our viewers want to know about.
Absolutely.
Like, who are you listening to right now? Who are your inspirations currently?
Wow. Gosh, my inspirations kind of vary. It's a wide range spectrum. Right before the camera started rolling, we were talking about Randy Newman, and it's funny you brought him up because he happens to be one of my favorite writers. I think he's brilliant, and his use of satire and historical references and all that nerdy stuff really light me up. I love Joni Mitchell. I love Carole King. Newer stuff, I really love Regina Spektor. I really love Sarah Bareilles actually is like my guilty pop pleasure. I think she's doing brilliant things as a pop singer-songwriter. I think she's doing great. I love Patty Griffin. I love Gillian Welch. There are a lot of bands I love.
Yeah, and the classics, they never get old.
No.
Some of your inspirations come from the girl groups of the 60s. What are some of your favorites?
Well, I really love, girl groups like the Shangri-Las and the Chanterelles, and really anything with the L's or the O's or the Ets at the end of it is what I enjoy. I actually want to start a side project band that is just me singing like 50s and 60s doo-wop with like a bunch of dudes sitting around me playing guitar and singing like the doo-wop parts.
That would be so fun.
I know.
We could put you in like a poodle skirt.
Yes, please. No, I love the music of that era. There's something about it that was really complex because, there was only so much that they could say lyrically, with the censorship of the time. So a lot of it is this undertone of like sexuality and, longing, and you kind of hear it all like in the music, but not so much in the lyrics. I love it.
That's so
That
true.
might not be what appealed to me when I was 5. When I was 5 and just listening to my parents' records, I was like, oh, this is fun, and dancing and whatnot.
Girl power.
Absolutely.
Now, speaking of girl power, I know that you did attend Berkeley in Boston for your music education, and I'm sure it was kind of a shock to you to find out how few women there are in the industry.
It was pretty surprising. I mean, like we talked about, I grew up listening to my parents' LPs, and I especially focused on these 50s and 60s doo-wop records. When I was 5 years old, I really believed that the music industry was dominated by women. I just had this in my head that like music was a woman's game. And I remember the first time I heard Thriller, I thought to myself, condescendingly, oh, that's really good for a boy.
Yeah.
I just thought it was so cute that little Michael Jackson would like try to put out a record even though music was for women. Obviously, I had that a little backwards. So I went to music college, and the male to female ratio at my school was 8-1.
Wow.
I decided to major in music production and engineering, and the male to female ratio in that department was 25-1. I had a class with 2 other girls in it, and it was like a 12 or 15 person class. So it had 3 women, and one of my teachers referred to it as, the class with all the girls. It was so messed up how upside down it was. And in the years since I've graduated, Berkeley has gotten a new president, Roger Brown, I think is his name, and they have started all these new initiatives, and I think they're working on kind of rebalancing the ratios.
I know you just got back from touring Japan. How was that?
It was incredible. It was amazing. I don't know what I expected from the trip, but it completely blew my mind. I felt so lucky to go. I was brought over by the U.S. Air Force. I did a concert on base. This was just, last Friday. And then I got to spend a week in Japan. And I'm so lucky that a friend of mine from childhood has an apartment near the city that I was able to kind of base out of. And I went all over. You know, we went down to the coast, we saw tuna boats, we went to Kyoto, went to Kamakura. It was amazing.
So much fun. And Rebecca, do tell our fans how they can check you out and find out more about you.
Absolutely. I've got a website, www.rebeccaloebe.com, that has got tour dates and blogs and music and all sorts of information, pretty much everything you would want to know. But I also have a website, rebeccaloebe.net, where I release a live bootleg style album every month, and it's to pay what you want subscribers. And the cool thing about that site is that people who live in a town where I don't perform very frequently, or people who've never, had the opportunity to come see me live, can experience a live show from the comfort of their home or car.
Lovely.
So, that's the other website. So RebeccaLoebe.com or RebeccaLoebe.net. Either one will kind of get you lots of information about me.
You also check out RebeccaLoebe.com or RebeccaLoebe.net and find out more. I know you have a blog on there too.
I do.
You're a great storyteller, obviously, as a songwriter. And well, I hope all of our viewers check you out at RebeccaLoebe.com. Thank you so much for meeting with us today.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll be right back to see your concert in the backyard.
Woo!
Hey! Welcome back to All Access. I'm your host, Tara Patton. If you have any arts and entertainment ideas that are going on in Lake County, please contact us at lakefronttv.com. You can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter. But next up, we have our own private concert with singer-songwriter Rebecca Loebe. Pick a seat.
So as Bobby told you, my name is Rebecca Loebe. I am a full-time itinerant songwriter, which I think is actually just a fancy way of saying well-dressed homeless person. I make a living traveling around the country, and now the world, since I went to Japan for the first time last week, playing songs I wrote for folks like you guys, really anywhere I can. And one of my favorite parts about doing what I do is that I get to meet so many interesting people that I otherwise would probably not cross paths with if I was just sitting at home full-time. And this is a song that I wrote about a young man I met on a plane. And we were actually sitting next to each other on the runway in Miami. I was flying to Atlanta, where I used to live, and he was flying to Chicago, connecting in Atlanta. And he was really nervous about the flight. I know this because just as I was about to fall asleep against the wall, I have to sit in the window, and then I can pull the seat down and pull my hoodie over my eyes, and then my superpower is that I can sleep from takeoff to landing, any flight. I was just about to drift off, and this young man says to me, "Would you mind pulling up the window shade?" And I did mind, because that violated my 3-step falling asleep on any flight plan, but, I wouldn't intentionally deny a stranger the ability to watch the miracle of air travel. So I pulled the window shade up, and then I sat there just kind of thinking, please don't talk to me. Which is not like me. I'm normally quite friendly, but this was before 8 a.m. on an airplane, so I like to think that all bets were off. So he then tells me that he'd never been on a plane before. And my heart just melted, and, I started chatting with him. I found out he was flying to Chicago. I asked him how old he was, and he said he was 18 years old, and I just kind of had to know. I said, well, you're 18 years old. You've never flown anywhere before. Like, what's the big deal? Why are you flying to Chicago today of all days? And he says, well, I'm flying to Chicago to get married. Yeah, that was basically my response over there, but he was sitting in front of me, so I had to kind of keep it together, and I think I did a great job. I said, wow! Congratulations! Tell me everything about yourself. So we talked the whole flight, and he turned out to be such a nice guy. He had had a really rough upbringing in the middle of Miami. He and his 6 older brothers, they wielded a pretty terrible influence over him, and they all bounced in and out of foster care. And then he got to high school, and he said that he was completely off track, but then he met this girl, and his whole face lit up when he talked about her. She was beautiful and smart, and she really motivated him to get his act together. So they had made a deal. When she graduated high school, she moved up to Chicago for college, and the deal they made was that if he graduated high school, or when he graduated high school, he could fly up to Chicago and they would get married. So they hadn't seen each other since they made that deal when she graduated 10 months before. But he had graduated that week on Monday, and now it was Friday morning before 8 a.m., and he was flying up to Chicago, and they were going to be reunited at Chicago O'Hare International Airport at 3 p.m. with her mother in tow, and the three of them were going to drive straight from the airport to City Hall for a wedding. He was going to be married by the end of the day. He was going to spend the weekend in Chicago with his new bride, and then he had to get back to Miami by Tuesday because he had not gotten his afternoon shift at Chi-Chi's covered. And he really needed that job. So by the end of the flight, I was completely in love with him. As I've mentioned, he was taken. So, I decided to just casually try and become his new best friend. And I think I played it pretty cool. I gave him some CDs and some stickers and a postcard and my phone number. And next thing you know, I was saying crazy things like, well, I'm a full-time traveling folk singer, so whatever you guys end up, I'm sure I'll come through there eventually. You can call me anytime. Here's my number. I have a phone. Do you have a phone? Do you want my phone? Here, take my phone. I have a phone. You can call me on my phone. I have a phone. And you know what? He has not called me yet. But it's only been like 2.5 years, so I think there's still plenty of time. And now if he does call, I can tell him I wrote a song all by him that's called The Chicago Kid. Well, I was born in South Florida, left there to die. I spent 18 long years in the weeds. I found it hard to believe in even changing his seasons. The leaves only turned on TV. And now I'll fly if I have to, though I would swim twice as long to be the one she'll press her back to. I am Chicago gone. So hard to handle, I'm selfish and I'm sad. I've gone and lost the best baby that I ever had. Oh, I wish I had a river that I could skate away on. Oh, I wish I had a river so long I would teach my feet to spring from every town, college came for everyone. Autumn knows the mail moves slow till it doesn't move at all. Still in the top of my dresser, oh, I kept that one letter. You said we may not always be this fun, we may not always be together. Checkered blanket in the bed of a borrowed truck, we parked out by the airport to try our hands at love. Saw you in the moonlight, seeing me for the first time, in the only moment anyone was ever true. big box store for records. They don't make no more Crossfade 2, a song I knew forever young ago. We may not always be this fun, we may not always be together, but we will always have forever young. We'll always have forever young. We'll always have forever young, forever. Thanks. That kind of love was really inspiring to me. That's where the song came from. It's called Margarita. When I'll leave the sun hanging straight up in the sky. Leave the apples in their baskets, let them rot and turn wine. The cold averted glances, the fear in my bones. When I'll leave the long arm and the trips behind the shed, the bundles in my mattress and the shaking of their heads. Fare thee well to no one, no, I will disappear. And Margarita, you're the reason I've been up at dawn. Margarita, you're the reason I've been holding on. Margarita, queen of ever, beggar's son, Margarita. When I'll leave completely with a suitcase full of cash. I'll uncross every border and I will untake every breath till we're standing in a chapel and we're making promises. Oh, the girls will get new dresses and the boys get baseball caps. We'll answer every question, we will dance till every last drop of celebration has been wrung out of our shoes. We'll make love till the morning, make love till we can't move. Margarita, you're the reason I've been up at dawn. Margarita, you're the reason I've been holding on. Margarita, you're the queen of ever, beggar's son, Margarita, Margarita. Well, it was early in November on a cloudless sunny day. The sky grew thick with thunder and the birds all flew away. They shackled us like killers, we walked in single file. And Margarita, they've been talking, but I ain't heard a word. No, I've been dreaming you could see me in my cell of steel and dirt, hidden from that sun, hanging straight up in the sky. I've been plucked like an apple, left to rot, turn to wine. Margarita, you're the reason I've been up at dawn. Margarita,
Well, your All Access Pass is up for today. Tune in next time to find out more about arts and entertainment happening here in Lake County on Lakefront TV, your hometown station.
This is a song I got to sing on national network television for 12 million people and 4 very judgmental pieces of furniture. Come as you are, as I want you to be, as a friend, as an old enemy. Take your time, hurry up, the choice is yours, don't be late. Take a rest, as a friend, as an old memory. Memory, come doused in white, soaked in